Five, four, three, two, one.
We are the Tech Teens.
In this presentation, we share an account of a case study in which we facilitated a distributed co-design process using Skype, a custom-made VR environment, and Microsoft Whiteboard. The 9 design sessions were conducted over a 3-month period in 2020. We reflect on the co-design sessions, focusing on the communication and the design concept evolution contributing to distributed co-design methods and techniques, not only for the design community, but also as an agentic learning process that could be incorporated into formal learning environments. With the paucity of existing work of geographically distributed co-design with children, our case study provides an empirical foundation, pointing at critical issues to be further investigated. We connected learners from a Namibian and a Finnish school in virtual communications to co-design an interactive map game. The design was carried out through a number of online and offline sessions. We refer to online sessions when learners from Namibia and Finland were virtually connected, and offline when sessions were held without connecting the learners from the two countries. We held a planning meeting a few days before each session and a reflection meeting a day after. The planning of the session goals, specific activities, and techniques was based on prior observations and reflections of practical issues, children's reflections, design outcomes, as well as known design tools. The sessions and meetings were held over Skype and were recorded. For each session, a report was written based on the recordings, observation notes, and the facilitators' experiences. Both schools had full teleconferencing equipment with a camera, external microphones, and a big display screen. In the absence of available tailor-made technologies to support distributed co-design activities with children, we opted to use Skype for the design sessions connecting the Namibian and the Finnish learners. Microsoft Whiteboard was used for icebreaker activities. For selected smaller group activities, we used a customizable and intuitive virtual reality space. The environment allows for multiple users to communicate through chat, voice, and video conferencing. Participants can interact within the environment by moving their avatars as well as adding or manipulating items such as furniture, shared documents, and links to other resources. One of the strengths of having children as design partners is the feedback throughout the design process. We postulate that the production of digital prototypes alongside the design process is essential to get feedback, as well as using method triangulation for gathering feedback at different time points in the project to increase the validity and authenticity.
Why the kangaroo is in the North Pole and polar bear is in Australia. Someone has stolen an animal from some country. Find out which animal is missing. Are you ready for a wild adventure?
Apart from the map drawing in one session, the prototype was the only tangible realization of learners' design suggestions. As the sessions took place only once every 2 weeks, a tangible prototype is beneficial as it animates abstract ideas and reduces the need to recall information from memory. The learners were not very critical of the prototype, and suggestions for changes and additions were provided hesitantly. It is only in the focus group interviews and the final diary that learners criticized the prototype.
We are the Tech Teams and we are working on our interactive map. This map is going to help people learn more about zoology and geography of our planet.
An interactive map is a map which helps us talk with other people from all over the world.
In their diaries, as well as in the interviews, most of the learners expressed that they were proud of their contribution. Online communication can be more difficult than face-to-face interactions. It may not mean, feel, and afford the same to learners from different cultures. We continuously aimed to enhance communication and interaction between the learners, which required different techniques than used for on-site design sessions. Choosing English as the lingua franca created an imbalance between the Finnish and the Namibian learners. Children with better language skills have an advantage in interactions, rendering the ones with lower level language skills more vulnerable. Nonverbal communication techniques such as drawing and role play, as used in Pictionary and charades, can equalize the playing field. As multilingual design promotes design diversity and justice, we suggest that more facilitation efforts are required to equalize language competencies. The nature of interaction and the mechanism by which control and power are distributed remain a constant issue in participatory design, and more specifically with children participants. Not only the relation between the children and the researcher, but also among the children themselves. This needs to be considered, and that interactions need to be facilitated accordingly. To maximize all learners' contributions to the design, the facilitators and facilitation techniques were varied throughout the design process. The balance in promoting contributions and fair turn-taking was challenging for facilitators situated in their countries. The facilitators were more prone to pick up on side comments uttered by learners in their physical vicinity and let this flow into conversation. The purely online facilitation by the researcher in Germany was more balanced and consistent. Most learners expressed that they appreciated the presence of the facilitator, especially for translations, clarifying questions, technical support, and guidance in activities. From a researcher's perspective, we consider the planning and reflection sessions extremely important in guiding the facilitation strategies. We piloted a distributed co-design process with learners from Namibia and Finland over several weeks. We gained valuable experiences and reflect on areas which will gain further attention in future distributed co-design activities. As technology is increasingly developed and deployed into formal learning systems across the globe, more children from different parts of the world need to be included in the design thereof. Finally, we postulate that it will be beneficial to integrate distributed learning and co-design sessions into everyday school curricula. Not only will this promote learners' agentic engagement, but also foster globally inclusive learning practices, thereby transforming schools into connected knowledge hubs.